think that, Trump is on your side, then ask yourself, why did they make 5G a national security priority? They're gonna roll out 5G and, on every street. And, EMF radiation, it basically makes you immunosuppressant, and it suppresses your immune system. And so it weakens your immune system. It makes you more susceptible to all viruses, not only the super virus, but even the common cold. You get a lot of people saying, oh, we should worry about the cold. Yeah, you should, with these death hours, with the cell phones, with the Wi-Fi and the like. It's meant to weaken your defense systems. That way, when the cold gets you, people are like, oh, it's just the flu, man. That sucks. And they don't ask any more questions. This is like a new type of tyranny. And of course, everybody's on their list, and so they'll be coming for you. As far as what's happening in China right now, it's not getting any better. The footage that we're getting is, it seems like it's getting worse. It's spreading to all the other cities, and now they're sending people back to work and the like, and so it's going to continue to spread. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, even if like the biggest projections are where we're at with 2 million people infected, 50,000 people dead. It's still got, 1,498,000,000 people to go, at least, just in China. So, I mean, this thing is far from burning out. And, when you see them liquidating, arresting, basically unleashing terror on their country, their own country, as well as arresting, journalists and the like, and you see people dropping dead everywhere. I mean, you just have to imagine the worst. But we really want to get this new information out there, and that's, this will spread through the sewers. It'll spread through, ventilation. It'll spread through the air. It lasts for days in the air. It's like weaponized anthrax, and everybody's like coughing it up, or breathing it out. And so there's like no escaping, contamination, unless you basically live in a shed somewhere, like, the Unabomber or something. And otherwise, there's no escape. Now, most people will be okay, but a lot of people are going to die. If the numbers are anywhere near 20%, we're talking tens of millions of people, body bags everywhere. It's going to get ugly. And, who survives, who makes it, and who doesn't is another story. But what's going to be left in the aftermath is a total tyranny like you've never seen before. And people need to understand that this was not an accident. This was done by design. And right now, this administration is letting this thing, do what it's doing best, which is to creep up on you and blow up like an A-bomb in your city. And, when President Trump was tweeting about the Ebola thing quite a few years ago, he's like, shut everything down, lock everything down, keep these people from coming in, And now look at him. It's just like on everything else, He's become a hypocrite and, quite honestly, a threat to our national security. And I think people need to kind of see past the 401k, because once this thing explodes, in your neighborhood, you can kiss your 401k goodbye. They're coming back for it. It's a big club and you're not in it, just like the George Carlin speeches. And you should have been paying attention since 9/11. You've woken up, about, what these people are capable of. And this is exactly what these people excel at: mass extermination, mass murder, and just making it look like, it was an accident, plausible deniability. You don't know exactly for sure, but we've got the labs, we've got the researchers, the scientists, the people who funded this virus have been exposed. The information is on our website right now, stfnreport.com. And what they've done is they've literally, admittedly, mixed this in with what's known as an immunodeficiency virus-based pseudovirus system. So we're going to have to break that down. But there's a reason why it had the inserts of HIV. There's a reason why the HIV drugs work a little bit with this virus, but it's not the only way this thing operates. It's like a hybrid of every disease pretty much out there. And it's, it's stealthy. It's made to just basically, strike massively before anybody knows what's happened. And this virus is probably much, much further along than they think it is. There's a case developing in the UK right now in a prison, and this guy just arrived from Thailand, basically at the beginning of when they just happened to announce one confirmed case. And if this guy was infected at that time and it was, already massive over there way back then, how massive must it be now, ladies and gentlemen? Never forget, these demons on television are trying to kill you. They're the ones responsible for the death towers. They're responsible for the fluoride, for the GMOs. They're responsible, for the vaccines. And they have the mark of the beast to prove it right there on your forehead, their forehead. And, they want you to have the mark of the beast as well. These people know that they're damned, and they want, they want to take you with them. They were so desperate to make it, they sold their souls. And then, after they got there, they realized what they're in for. They realized, oh shit. And, they're just trying to bring down as many people as they can with them. Don't trust these people on television. Be a skeptic out there as the super virus rolls into your town, and start preparing. Get all the gear, the 3M gear, as much as you can. Prepare the best you can. This thing isn't going away. It's a super red alert. This is a DEFCON 1, doomsday's clock is at midnight kind of thing. This is like, a million Fukushimas just erupted, and we're starting to learn about it now. And I'll tell you what's really bothering me a bit here is how they're just keeping all of this information to themselves, as far as, people dropping dead, children dropping dead, this thing spreading through the sewers, the fact that it was even, unleashed at all. They knew right away pretty much what it was, and they let it grow. They were trying to silence doctors, journalists, whistleblowers. They're fully complicit in the release of this virus. And it's not just them. It's our government as well. When we look at this study that's listed on our website, it's a scientific study on how they were manipulating this virus from the get-go when they found it in bats, and then they started adding different functions to it. Yeah, I mean, there's at least 3 scientific papers here that show everything that you need to know about this virus. But when we look at the funding, it's China and Australia that are funding this. We've got at least them. So you got the Five Eyes, and then you got through the back door, and then you got China that developed this virus, and they let it go with the purpose of unleashing their new Nazi-like regimes in all respective countries. All of a sudden the whole world is going to go Nazi, real Nazi, like Nazi Pelosi, hardcore. I mean, you see them there. They got the black uniforms with like the orange, red bandanas, just like the Nazis. Mass arrest, liquidation. They're gassing people with virus, and it's going to be worldwide before you know it. In just a matter of weeks, I mean, just about every country is going to start looking like this, and it's part of the plan. And the occult, when they're in power, it always looks the same. I invite everybody to go check out the documentary Hitler and the Occult. And as soon as they go anti-Christian, it's always the same: mass murder, kill everybody, and it's like a Jonestown cult as well. I mean, they're suicidal. They don't care. They're anti-life. They're anti-creation. That's who these people are. And look, regardless of what happens, this is going to basically nuke at least 400 major cities around the world, according to the newest studies, as far as where these people from Wuhan went. And so this is going to nuke Sodom and Gomorrah. People need to get out of the big cities and start preparing and start, looking at what the Chinese are doing to survive. It may include, basically locking in your libtard neighbors and the like. And we should be walling off California, speaking of libtards, right now. I mean, they're infected. So is the state of New York. They're infected. D.C. is infected as well. They need to lock these cities down and start fumigating ASAP. And they got to quit, letting these cruise ships come in. Right now, it's like a cruise ship crisis around the world. Nobody wants to let a cruise ship dock anywhere because they all got the Wuhan supervirus. They're hiding the numbers. They're hiding the severity of this virus from you, you need to know the research is right there on our website. Everybody that's been paying attention, because we're on the, basically the front lines of the research here, replicate this in your own words, or just mirror this content. Let people know we've got the proof now. There's tons of proof. Scientists now for weeks have been looking at the inserts of this virus, how it differs from the ones that are out there in the wild. And it's just like comparing two pictures or two documents. They just gotta figure out what's different, and they've done so. It's got AIDS, it's got other properties to make it more infectious and the like. It's coming out of the sewers. It lasts in nature for days, like 9 days, 10 days, up to 28 days. It's going to be on the money. It's going to be in the mail. It's going to be everywhere. People aren't even going to know how they've gotten infected. And, it's the perfect doomsday virus, the way it just creeps up and blows up, the way it ramps up and the like. But don't believe what, they were telling you on television the first few days. It came from bats. It only affects old people. The kill rate's only 2%. And the like. We just got to check for fever. None of it's true. What they told you was a full-blown lie from the beginning to set you up, to make you think it's okay, and that way you're gonna get it. And when I see like these rallies now that are happening, for the election and the like, those are all going to become super spreader events. This is all timed perfectly just to to melt down